everybody? Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to recap this past weekend's boxing action, in which on Friday night we had Vyacheslav Shabranskyy fighting Oscar Riojas. It was on Estrella TV. Probably a lot of people in the States didn't get it, but it's on Golden Boy's YouTube page if you have not seen it. That's how I watched it, and Rob as well. So you can check it out on there if you have not yet. And then on Sunday, we had Errol the True Spence versus Leonard Bundu for Kell Brook's title. On the preview video, I said it was Keith Thurman, but I was mistaken. I'm sorry about that. It's actually Kell Brook, IBF title that
Eliminator.
That they are fighting as an eliminator for. Right. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the Friday fight. Shabranskyy, Riojas. This was pretty much a showcase fight for Shabranskyy, coming off the win versus Yuneski Gonzalez, which was a very hard-fought win for him. They went tooth and nail in that fight. And in Riojas, he got somebody who did not offer much resistance. He was 10-5 coming in, I think, with like 3 knockouts.
Yeah.
But this was pretty much a stay busy fight until he can get, you know, high enough in the rankings or enough buzz that someone will fight him to, you know, get his name out there a little bit bigger.
Right.
In watching his older fights, I saw a really raw product. Like, he didn't move his head a lot. His punches tended to get a little wide. He did have a lot of volume, which was pretty good. And he had a glossy knockout record. That didn't change. But what I did see in this fight was very impressive. His footwork was greatly improved. His head movement was greatly improved. He was actually changing levels. His punches were a lot more accurate. And really, that's what you want to see out of a young fighter. Every time you see them, they look better than the last time they were out. And for that, you have to give props to him and his team, because they're not resting on their laurels and just letting him stay the way he is. I'll let Rob break down what he saw in the ring, and then we'll get back into it.
Yeah, there was a lot of improvements to what he was doing. He was very active on his feet, the footwork. He was setting his feet before he punched. And like you said, he was changing levels. Not very well defensively, because I saw him duck under a lot of Riojas punches, which is a little difficult because he is a much taller fighter than Riojas and a lot of fighters in the 175-pound division. He is about 6'3", has extremely long reach. So to see him really get down there, then come back up with his own return fire is a really good thing. Also,
you really don't see a lot of European fighters using that as a defensive move.
Right. And a good thing, he did work the body well.
Yes, he did.
I would like him to tighten up his right hand to the body just a little bit, because he was kind of whipping it out there. And Riojas really didn't have the defense where it required a looping shot to the body.
Right. The straight shot was working great as well too. Once he really, that's actually an adjustment he made, because like you said, he was whipping it at first, and then he started throwing it straight to the body and straight to the head as well. And that's where he scored the first knockdown in the 3rd round, where he caught Riojas with a feint. Riojas tried to duck. He threw him right into that right hand, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. Then he got up, finishing barrage, and the ref had seen enough. This was a very, like we said, he looked good. He got the tune-up he needed, and I would like to see more of him, and hopefully he continues to improve. Because like when I saw like Beterbiev and like Kovalev and Triple G, I saw those guys, and I was like, yeah, that guy has it. I don't quite feel that way about Shabranskyy yet, but I think he's on his way.
But the good thing about this fight, he was very relaxed. He wasn't stiff. He wasn't robotic. He just came in there and really did what he had to do. Instead of concentrating on doing something, he just went out and did it.
Right. And like we said, I thought that he looked really good, and hopefully he can get a higher quality opponent in there and really show what he can do, and hopefully not regress into his old tactics once the heat gets turned up.
Right.
So, and that comes with experience. So when he gets in there with those guys, we'll find out what he's really made of then. So we're looking forward to that. Let's move on to Sunday, where we had Errol Spence versus Leonard Bundu, like I said earlier, for Kell Brook's IBF 147-pound title. Now, coming into this fight, Errol Spence had stopped Chris Algieri, who had not been stopped before.
Chris Van Heerden, who had never been stopped. Also, Phil Greco, who had been stopping, I think, Alejandro Barrio or Barrera. So another kind of obscure name. But it was it was 4 guys who he stopped that had never been stopped.
Yeah, and they had been in there with some tough guys, especially Algieri, who had been in there with the second best fighter in the last 15 years in Manny Pacquiao. And to survive the onslaught that he took from that and then get steamrolled by Spence was a very emphatic statement. So that is what we were looking for Spence to do in this fight. Bundu had went 12 rounds with Keith Thurman. I think he was dropped in the first round with him, but he managed to make it through to the 12th round and give Keith Thurman some competition.
Right.
Now, don't get us wrong. Leonard Bundu actually did some good work in this fight. He switched up a lot. He switched from southpaw to orthodox. He kept different angles. He worked the body. He countered well too, actually. But Spence was just on another level for him. What you have?
Yeah, Leonard Bundu did a lot of those tricky things that really gave Errol Spence a really good look at stuff that he should expect moving forward.
Right.
He being the shorter fighter, he made himself a smaller target with both guards up.
Which you did mention in the preview video.
Right. So what happened, he made sure to stick with going to the body. And I'm not just talking about the jab to the body and the 1-2 to the body, which he did well.
Right.
But he also threw around the guard of Leonard Bundu quite a bit, which slowed him down, and it caused Leonard Bundu to actually drop his hands quite a few times. And I'm not talking about drop his hands to get hit, but kind of gotta shake him out from holding him up so long. Also, like you said, he switched quite a bit, and that's where he started to kind of catch Spence with a few counters, especially with a right cross. And Spence took it actually very well. He stayed pretty composed on the inside. He didn't clinch too much. The ref wasn't forced to break him up too often after I want to say about the first or second round, and they stayed and they continued to fight. And what happened was, once they got in close, especially along the ropes, he caught him with a sneaky left uppercut.
Yeah.
And down went Bundu.
Yeah, I was very impressed with his inside work. He kept his composure there, whereas you see a lot of other guys will immediately look to tie up or get out of there. Spence stayed in the pocket, either shelled up and got ready to volley with Bundu, or he just threw some shots, changed his angles just slightly. I think I mentioned that in a preview video. That's pretty much his defense. He's like a one move and counter type of guy.
Right.
But he was able to do that in the pocket, which takes a lot of poise. So, like we said with Shabranskyy, we got to see him in there with those top level guys. And he is the mandatory for Kell Brook's title. And honestly, I don't think Kell Brook's coming back down to 47. He was already a big guy anyway. They talked about him having trouble making the weight. Now he's going up to fight Triple G. He will probably settle in at 154, which will make that title vacant. And then Spence will probably fight someone else for the vacant title.
What I would like to see, I would like to see Spence again maybe in December. That's enough time to get a little bit of rest, start the press tour, get some good work in versus... I want to say, what's his name? Konstantin Ponomarev or Dmitry Michalenko. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or even, Who else is at 147? It's a few names.
There's a lot of guys at 147.
A good fight would be, you know, maybe Felix Diaz, who just won his last fight, versus Sammy Vasquez.
Yeah.
There, Lamont Peterson is still out there, who's in desperate need of a fight because he hasn't fought since his win over Felix Diaz.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Right.
But Kell Brook might come back down. Though I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
If he does, that's going to be a really good fight.
A combination between the weight and this high degree of eternal difficulty versus Triple G, it'd be hard pressed to get both of them in the ring in the next 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to... If it does happen, it won't be this year.
Right. They'll probably
maybe like April of next year.
While Kell Brook is making a decision after that Triple G fight, you know, they might have an interim title match or something like that.
Right. So that's what we're looking for now, to see what happens with the IBF title, and how the rankings shake up after that, because he may end up having to face the number 2 guy for the vacant title, like we said, or he could end up facing Kell Brook, or they might just give it to him. Who knows with these sanctioning bodies? He just could end up being the champ, but they like their money, so he'll probably have to fight somebody for it.
And we want to see him fight somebody for it.
Yeah, we would much rather like to see him fight somebody for it. That is correct. But yeah, that's really it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked this video. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe, because we got plenty of content, past, present, and future.
That's right.
Hit us up on our social networks. All the links are below. Instagram, Google+, Facebook. They're also in the closing credits. But if you guys got any questions or comments, hit us up in the comment section below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.